friends has utterly spoiled me. It's difficult to encapsulate 7 years of my life in only a few minutes because it truly was every moment of every day that made my experience so special. When I came to Friends in the 6th grade, I had a very different view of myself, of society, and of the purpose of school than I do today. I had decided that school was solely a place to learn within a classroom. I knew I was very different from the people around me. In my life before Friends, this difference had made it hard to connect with others. So I was cynical and expected that people wouldn't understand or attempt to understand me. I would be lucky if a few people talked to me. If I was really lucky, I would leave high school with 1 or 2 friends. And I was okay with that. Back then, that was my normal. I still vividly remember my first day at Friends. I was surprised to be met with such kindness and genuine excitement for students and faculty alike. I felt an intrinsic warmth. Students introduced themselves, and I didn't receive the inappropriate questions or stares that I was used to or expecting. I felt normal and just like any of the other anxious 6th graders starting their very first day of school. But I told myself, this will wear off. People are just being so nice to you because this is your first day. Well, I was happily wrong. Day after day, I kept receiving that same kindness. In the 7th grade, I was out of school for several weeks when I had surgery. I didn't think anyone would notice my absence. I was worried it would be difficult to reintegrate back into a community and reconnect with friends that I had made only a year ago. And yet again, Friends proved me wrong, as it does every single day. I received visits from teachers and classmates, a flood of handmade cards, and funny emails about school with lots of emojis. It was the 7th grade. The Friends community showed me that I was valued. I will always be grateful for everyone who welcomed me back as if nothing had happened. The more time I spent at Friends, the more I started to take the way we treat each other here for granted. I got used to people holding doors for me as I moved from class to class. I got used to getting emails and texts when I was out sick. And most importantly, I got used to being fully accepted. My hyper-awareness of being so different disappeared, and so did the stigma that I had put on myself. I started to see my differences as valuable. Before the 6th grade, I would have traded anything not to feel different. I wanted so badly to be like everyone else. But if you asked me now, I wouldn't trade my experiences, the painful, the challenging, and the good, for anything. Why? Because Friends has taught me that it's our differences that make us more aware of the world in which we live. It really was the celebration of our differences and the collective everyday moments that made my experience invaluable. I know it's not normal for students to send me class notes when I'm sick and take the care to color code them to meet my neurotic behavior before I even ask, and for teachers to spend hours helping me catch up on work when I'm at the hospital. I know it's not normal for my friends to move my desk for me before I even get to class, for friends to open my water bottle instinctively knowing it will be too tight, or for students to pick up something I dropped before I even noticed it fell. I know it's not normal for Jackie to make sure I was able to reach my plate during lunch, and for crossing guards to come in 5 minutes early every day to put the ramps in place for me. And finally, I know it's not normal for parents and classmates to make sure that I could participate in bar mitzvahs, parties, and pre-prom, even if this meant changing the location of their birthday party at a moment's notice when it wasn't actually accessible. But these are things that everyone at Friends worked so hard every single day to create and normalize in the world around us. Through these daily acts of thoughtfulness and consideration, the faculty and students modeled what it means to be genuinely loving, supportive, and accepting. The people at Friends are so instinctively generous and caring, not because they expect anything in return, but because they just feel it is right. However, the reality of the world beyond these four walls became crystal clear to me last summer. Because of the encouragement that I receive here, I wasn't scared to attend a summer pre-college program on a campus far from home. I naively thought it would be like my life at Friends. When I was there, though, I was met with judgment and resentment. Almost daily, I overheard comments made by my peers. I'll read you a few. Why is she here? Why does she think we're willing to wait for her if we're not even friends with her? Or, we don't want her in the photo, she's ruining it. I was shocked, I was mad, and I was confused. I had forgotten that people could treat others in such a cruel and unaccepting way. To be honest, for a split second, I was mad at Friends. I thought it hadn't prepared me for the real world, but what I soon realized was that it did prepare me for a world that ought to be. Because of the value of integrity Friends has instilled in me, I know that the only way to grow is by leaning into discomfort. So I decided to be vulnerable by initiating an open discussion with my peers. I explained my life, my feelings, and my own experiences in an effort to create a sense of understanding. Afterwards, students told me that I fostered a sense of empathy and awareness within them. And when I heard those words, I knew I had my time at Friends to thank. I would like to think that I changed the 40 or so people in my dorm for the better. Even if it was only a small change, I know that it was because of Friends. What I did last summer is a testament to Friends and something I would have never even thought about doing 7 years ago. I know we've probably rolled our eyes once or twice at Friends' mission. We prepare students to engage in the world that is and to help bring about a world that ought to be, but the mission could not be more accurate. Friends is a place of true compassion and models how the world should be. It should be a place without discrimination, where we learn from each other's unique experiences and use them to connect with each other. I know that the students graduating today impact the world every day, because they've impacted my world every day. Thank you to all of my teachers for making me feel completely accepted and able to thrive in your classes. There are many of you who will be in my heart forever, but here are just a few examples. I want to thank Stefan for not only helping me discover my love of history and realize it as a route for social change, but maybe even more importantly, for all of the time, comfort, encouragement, and invaluable guidance you gave me when I needed it the most. Thank you, Kate, for giving the best life advice, being my school mom, and for being a constant source of fashion inspiration. I want to thank Audrey for thinking about my needs before I knew them, believing in me, and graciously giving me so much of yourself. Thank you to my advisor, Mr. G, for all of the energy you gave me and for reminding me that it's okay to ask for help. And thank you to Bo for always making me feel so welcome here. You were literally the only principal in all of New York City who viewed a child in a wheelchair with acceptance and not apprehension. And without you, I'm not sure what I or my family would have done. Most of all, I want to thank my family. Thank you to my mom and dad for getting me to this point. Thank you for pushing me to do my best when I didn't think I could anymore, and for reminding me that everything will be okay, whether through song, quote, or Bitmoji. Thank you for reminding me that doing my best is always enough, and for believing in me when it seemed that the world did not. Thank you for supporting me in my dreams and making me believe that I was limitless. Thank you to Kieran and Tara for being protectors, for reminding me to find the fun, to shake it off when the time calls for it, and to defend myself. And thank you to my grandfather for your stories of your childhood when I needed a study break, and most of all, for showing me the definition of perseverance. As we leave today, I want to thank my class for inspiring me on a daily basis and for continually showing me just how far simple acts of compassion can go. If everyone continues to treat the people around them the way that you have to me, everyone here will change lives. And I know that because that's what everyone here has done for me. I've learned more from you about kindness, acceptance, thoughtfulness, and openness than I could have learned anywhere else. As we all embark on new adventures filled with new people and new experiences, I hope we can remember the impact we have had on each other and take what we've learned here to legitimately bring about a world that ought to be. Thank you.